Ooh, yakety mac.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Yakety Mac. I sure do appreciate you watching. So look, I love making content for y'all, but my heart has always been with product reviews and comparisons, and that's what we're going to do today. We've got a battle of $50 bait casters, the Kastking Spartacus 2 versus the Quantum Throttle. Now, full disclosure, this throttle makes number 6 in my arsenal. So I'm very familiar with it, and obviously I think highly of it, or else I wouldn't have 6 of them. However, I've not tried too many others, so I'm anxious to try the Spartacus. Both of these, from a spec perspective, are very close. Both of them are 8 bearing. I think the Spartacus has 17.5 pounds worth of drag. The throttle has like 15. 7-to-1 gear ratio, 7-3-1 gear ratio, and again, they're right at the exact same price point. So I'm going to give you a very non-biased review of this. If it's better, I'm going to tell you it's better, and if it's not, I'm going to tell you that it's not. I'm going to rig these up identical to one another. The same line, the same setup, the exact same pole, and then we're going to put them through the paces and see which one wins. And I'll tell you what, if the Spartacus comes out on top, I'm going to have to rethink my life a little bit. So guys, let's get these out on the water and see which one wins. Okay guys, better late than never, as they say, right? So I'm going to start off this competition with the throttle, the Quantum Throttle, and it's the reel I'm the most familiar with. And so I won't spend a ton of time on it, but I will give it its due evaluation and tell you why I like them so much and why I own 6 of them. So I've got them both spooled up exactly the same line, exactly the same way. Berkley 6.5 foot rods that I always use. And I got chatterbaits tied on to both of them, same size, same weight chatterbaits. So I'm going to make a cast here with my Quantum, just a little flick of the wrist. And that went 35 to 40 yards. The reeling is smooth. I can feel the vibration in the chatterbait. It is a smooth cast. It is a smooth reel. Now, how does it compare to a $200 reel? I've got no clue. I've never used one. But there's no hiccup in it. You know, I've caught several fish on these Quantums. I've never had an issue with them as far as reeling fish in or anything of that sort. They've never given me any problems. I know the Quantums come with a 5-year manufacturer defect warranty. That's pretty awesome. And backlashing, seldom a problem. In fact, that was about a 40-yard cast easy there. In fact, about the only time I ever backlash with the Quantum is if I'm maybe trying to make a cast underneath a limb or something along those lines. And I hit the limb instead of the water. So obviously the spool hasn't had time to slow down yet, and I'll sometimes get a backlash there. Sometimes I'm able to pick them out. Every now and then I'm not able to, just depending on how bad I do it. But it's not the reel, it's me. It's usually because I hit something. As far as casting into the wind, I've not had any issues. The one thing that I like about the Quantum, and I stumbled across it actually, I was using a Bass Pro Shop, probably about a $40 or $50 reel from Bass Pro Shop for the longest time. And then I happened to stumble across this on clearance at Walmart for like 30 bucks. And so I picked up, I knew I heard voices over there, so I picked up a Quantum and thought, well, let me give this a try. And it was so much better than my Bass Pro reel. It would cast further, it was smoother, it was easier. And in fact, when I would try to swap out between the two, I was amazed at how much harder I had to throw the Bass Pro reel just to try to get it the same distance with the same type of lure on. And so I was like, man, this is really nice. And then over the course of time, I started using it on things like a weightless fluke, and it would cast that just fine. I know a lot of people will maybe on those lighter weightless baits go to like a spinning reel or something, but I'm able to cast out good distance without backlash, without any problems at all with the Quantum. And so I thought, man, these are great reels. So I started buying more. And I started buying more. I started buying them online. I'd get them on eBay auctions where I'd get maybe 2 of them for 80 bucks. So I'm only paying 40 bucks a piece. And lo and behold, now I have 6 of them, and they are fantastic. Longevity, I've been using them now a little over a year and a half, and I've not had any issues. I do take them apart every now and then and clean them. Adjusting the brakes on it is easy. Adjusting the spool tension is easy. If I go to a weightless or something, I'll loosen up the spool just a little bit. And I've not had any problems at all. I can't think of a single negative thing to say about the Quantums. And so, it's going to be tough for the Kastking to beat this. But if it equals it, then I can think of a couple advantages of the Kastking already, nothing to do with performance. So let me go ahead and throw the Kastking now, the Spartacus 2. And give you a little bit of a close-up here of that reel. It's kind of an army green. Looks really cool with this high-vis line that I've got on there. It's got some kind of lime green, fluorescent green accents, not overbearing. It doesn't look cheesy, doesn't look cheap. Let's see how it does. Chatterbait, flick of the wrist. About the same. 35 yards or so. The retrieve on it is smooth. Let me see here. So this is how I have the spool adjusted. That's my drop rate. Don't know how well you can see that, but might be just a tad loose if I were throwing into the wind or something, but okay, 35 to 40 yards again. That was an even better cast there. Maybe now that the line's a little bit wet. So I can tell one thing right off of the bat, and I'd have to check the specs on this just to confirm it, but the Kastking feels lighter. It feels a little bit more low profile as well. That could be a benefit if you are a person that suffers from fatigue, or even if you don't suffer, if you just fish a lot and get tired of casting. The lighter reel on there could be a benefit. It's a little peculiar for me because I don't feel quite the counterweight. That counterweight in the Quantum, when I go to throw it, it just feels a little beefier in the hand. This is not nearly as much counterweight. It feels like I have to put a little bit more effort behind it. And it could just be a feel thing. And I'm very much a person that relies on feel. So I'll answer a question that I'm sure I'm going to get. Why on earth would you have 6 of the exact same reels? Things that feel consistent. It's like when I switch out a rod and pick up another one, I don't want to try to learn it in 4 or 5 casts to kind of get used to a new feel. So that's why I have a lot of the same ones. That, and they've proven reliable, so why not? I don't know that it's ever cost me anything by not having different gear ratios or not having different styles of reels, to be honest with you. So an advantage that I think a Kastking would have, all things being equal, is that it comes in a variety of colors. So from a performance point of view, that doesn't mean a whole lot of anything, but where it could come in handy is that if you're the type of person that maybe puts different pound tests on different reels for different situations, being able to have multiple of this in different colors could help you associate that color with, for instance, I think there's a blue one of these here. So if you get the blue one, maybe that's your 50-pound test line. Maybe on the green here, you've got your 30-pound test. Maybe on one, you've got mono. Maybe on the other, you've got fluorocarbon. Whatever it might be, I do think having the multiple colors there could come in handy with just a quick glance. Sometimes with me, with all my combos exactly the same, I got to look at what I've got rigged up on there from my pre-fish to be like, okay, yeah, that's that rod, or that's that rod. And so having those different colors is an advantage that really doesn't have anything to do with performance at all. but I do feel like I'm having to cast this harder. I'm going to cast it again without trying to put so much behind it. I do know the Quantum holds more line on the spool than the Kastking does. I think about 40 yards more of 30-pound braid. I'd have to check the specs on that to get the exact number, but I do know the Quantum holds more line. Okay, well, speaking of hitting a limb, you moron, I just did it, and I got myself a backlash. Doggone it, you idiot. Wasn't paying attention to a low-hanging limb. All right, so how about a real-world test right there? I was able to dig that out of there. Again, not the reel's fault. Any bait caster that you suddenly stop like that is going to do that. Now I got to get my lure out the tree. There we go. That's a professional right there, guys. That is straight up professional. So man, do I have to declare a winner? I kind of guess I do, or do I call it a draw? So here's what I'm going to do. I'd love to catch a fish. Wouldn't that be something? If you could catch a fish on each one of them, and then, you know, not that I think that they would perform all that differently with a fish on them, especially 12 inchers that I catch. So, all right. So what do I think? I think it's a good reel. So here's what I'm going to say. I don't notice a ton of difference between this and the Throttle. And so the price difference was actually about $4 or $5. The Kastking was a little bit cheaper. Now, what I will say is that the Kastking only has a 1-year warranty, as opposed to the Throttle 5-year warranty. Maybe you'll never have to use it. Maybe there's something behind that. I do not know. But here's what I will say. It hasn't done anything that would make me want to switch. But it also hasn't done anything that would make me not buy another one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare, by a hair, I'm going to declare the Throttle a winner. And there may be some bias in that just because I'm used to it. But the reason I'm going to do that is that I need some more time with this reel. So I'm going to put it into the rotation. I think I might put some mono line on it and make this my topwater reel. And then put a little time in on it. See how it does, you know, 3-4 months from now, if I still feel the same way about this reel. I see no reason, if you're thinking about one of these reels, why you wouldn't want to pull the trigger. For me, I'm going to need a little bit more time just to see how it holds up after several uses. So I'm going to put this in my rotation. I'm going to use it for my topwater that I can't seem to catch anything on lately. And I'll report back and let you know after a while if my opinion changes. But as of right now, the Throttle by a hair, simply because I'm familiar with it, I guess, and having used it for 1.5 years and had no problems, I could easily recommend it. But if you're thinking about the Spartacus too, maybe you've got some in your cart on Amazon, go ahead and pull that trigger, guys. Appreciate you watching. I always appreciate you watching. Do me a favor if you would and hit the subscribe button. I'll update this here after some use. Hit that thumbs up, that like button for me if you would. I would certainly appreciate that. Share this video and leave me a comment. Let me know, do you have experience with either one of these reels, and what has been your experience so far? Have you been using a Spartacus 2 for a while, and have you had any problems? I'd be interested to hear from it, guys. Appreciate you watching again. I'm going to get out of here. I got a boat coming right at me. Have fun, take care, and look, no matter what you've got going on, always make sure you take some time to get outside and play. No, sir, I'm not. I've had a couple of bites on a jig, but I couldn't get a hook in them. Outside of that, that's been about it. But at least I'm not working.